art of manifesting one's sacred self. The season's midpoint upon the heels of summer's solstice carries intense energy with it as we transition from the sun's spotlight into a period of more grounded care, bringing closure and support to what has been a most transformational time indeed, with the focus redirected and shifting towards more everyday needs and mundane tasks. Of course, after such or any exertion, it's only natural one seeks the calm and relaxing creature comforts that bring us solace. 'Tis human instinct, after all, and though this present stretch can most certainly be painted or portrayed in such a pleasant picture, the base concern during this lunar bye-week or half-month period from 629 to 714 encompasses tending to transient wealth, with the memo or message being, be sure one has what one needs, which makes perfect sense in that since all the seeds of one's labors have already been planted and sown, it's only logical to turn one's attention towards those vital assets and resources which must be managed and maintained in stock perpetuity until the crops come to fruition, so to literally and or metaphor cryptically speak. The synchronized and timely seasonal gear shift is an organic aspect of summer's arrival and departure, and dearly beloved nature would have it no other way. In fact, since one is both of her earthiness and a spiritual being no less, thou art an asset and resource unto thyself, as very well as to others. So it is therefore behooving one to tend to oneself accordingly, or in accord. And that's just in or on the soul level. For no doubt the turn and in turn turning seasons has left one mentally and physically raw, and perhaps and or somewhat renewed, not to mention revealed as well, if not also a little needy, hence rhyme and reason for tending to materiality.
Your wealth, and wealthy you be. Precious, yes. Tend to self appropriately, and grow one shall.
Examine how one's assets and or resources are used. And by the way, or by same token, consider how one creates self, all of which enables life as thou knoweth and liveth it. See what possibilities for change might be lurking in the season's glaring light, and prompting 'tis a and or the time of moving from the height of summer's fiery intensity into the shifting and or shifty combustibility of it. By dearly beloved Mother Nature's organic design, no less. This is a period for and or of actions, building, and earthly engagement, an assured time of prosperity for those who put in the work in terms of that which one nurtures and tends to in its growing season. So to figuratively and literally speak, one cannot forge ahead without doing some kind of leg or foundry work. Just be careful not to trip or burn thyself. Don and or wear the appropriate gear and mindset. And by all ways and means, be prepared with fire extinguisher and triage kit, handy and ready, just in case things go awry or haywire. Better safe than sorry. Left? Right? The point is, don't do anything foolish, nor stupid. Think long and hard before doing something risky. And if approaching from a standpoint of mere curiosity at this particular juncture, well, we all know what happened to that cat. Otherwise, now's a good and ripe time to employ creative forces and extend self towards more successful outcomes, as the Vikings knew and or so aptly did, though a word or words of caution is here in order. For according to the calendarized staves of ye elder Forthrark, The energy of the next couple weeks is of the giants, or giant in nature, meaning it's really big and things are about to get wild. Since this time span, with aspects thereof, as always, represent the outer world or unknown territories, as well as unconscious forces within oneself. And when the giants come a calling, they can't be ignored. Things must be expressed and dealt with, lest there be calamity. Assets one must manage is specifically indicated at this point. Yet, before that can be done, one needs to manifest them first, implying a pattern of reciprocity, as in sow, tend, harvest, reap, feed, and replenish, wash and repeat. Such is the methodology of manifesting any something, for certainly and surely nothing ever sprouts from faith or prayer alone. That's just irrational wishful thinking, not to mention irresponsible tomfoolery, and gets one absolutely nowhere, while in reality, making something happen takes a good deal of ongoing effort and endeavoring, if not mojo and moxie. 'Tis one's duty, that is, work which must be performed continually, not just in terms of a menial job or rote tasks, but rather doing what is expected in order to sustain one's assets and maintain society's integrity. Participation which a community requires of one for its continued functioning. Otherwise, without a duty, it's a disservice to thine fellow man and woman, not to mention thyself too. This isn't just about tending to crops, livestock, or market shares. Verily, I'm also talking about one's sacred duty too. The interconnected and interwoven nature of taking care of personal business. That's what'll keep one aligned with that which is most deeply needed currently for community, family, Her Majesty Mother Earthship, as well as for the sake of one's very own soul itself. Tend to one's duties, both mundane and sacred, in an ongoing way, as they are, of course, important and unique to each and every individual and or entity, and theirs alone to bear and bring forth into being. For the resultant outcomes inevitably manifests those assets which sustain one's life. See, and how one will manages and processes that part of self whom art in charge of thine sacred chores matters a whole hell of a lot. And the way in which one names and or owns it, one's role that is, enables it to do its thing. In like manner, or in reciprocation, if striking a balance is what one ultimately wants to achieve, when it comes to embodying the sacred self, one must remain actively aware of one's higher and or transpersonal and or true self, the big kahuna, you know, the real you, whatever resonates with you. No biggie. All it takes is engaging and tending to same relationship carefully. Happily ever after all, for thou art the overseer of thine own fate and destiny. Get it? You got one, so go with it. Big moves require bold actions and a big pair of balls and or ovaries too. FEHU.